Hello everybody and welcome back to another playing commentary of Overlord, episode 9, as per usual outro time. Yeah, it's actually a very interesting episode it's going to be a very what the name? The Dark Warrior. That's probably referring to Ainz. It's going to be rather interesting to see the battles that are certain to ensue in this episode. Now that might mean that my commentary will be quite a bit lesser because it's hard to commentate over battles, usually at the very least. Although if they are rather tactical, then that might actually be rather easy to commentate over. Regardless, let us begin with the episode proper. I already went over this in the last episode, but I really like how Ainz has justified his heartlessness in this manner, that he's just using people, just completely just using people to spread his name. I really actually like it. It's really unique, to say the least. It's a goddamn Dracolich. That is, at the very least, I think that's a Dracolich, and not just an undead dragon. Regardless, I am very excited, because, as I have stated now on numerous occasions, I love dragons. I really do. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Skeletal dragon, as I expected. Now, this is an interesting departure from D&D rules, where skeletal dragon actually, even though it is immune to some magic. Okay, well, dragons are very magic resistant now that the more I think about it, but they aren't completely magic proof. It's going to be interesting to see how exactly Nabe will deal with this. Oh, I was just imagining that. Did Nabe actually just beat the dragon in one strike? That would have been rather amusing. But no, obviously it's still up. So this is going to be quite a bit of a longer battle. It's actually really cool to see like strategies that I have actually employed in D&D myself, such as creating an undead creature and healing it with negative energy. Now that is a strategy that is very akin to what happens in D&D, or what I have employed myself in D&D, and that's really quite cool to see. It completely obeys even though I think that normal people that could require some explanation, I think it's pretty apparent what happened and how obvious it is that works. So I think it's pretty obvious and doesn't need explanation what just happened. I actually like quite a bit how much they are concentrating on the battle between Nabe and, God, I forgot his name. Anyways, I quite like how much they are concentrating on this battle. I wonder if we're actually gonna see the conclusion of this battle before we continue with Ainz and Clementine.
自分に勝てる選手はいないという自信はどこに行ったんだ?
Now, this brings up an interesting point. Ainz is just using physical strength without using any abilities itself, even though all of the other warriors apparently are going to learn, or they learn martial arts, which is pretty, it's quite an interesting little point there to make. を狙ったのはわざとか。いい勉強になるな。じゃあ行きますよ。That certainly is a rather interesting stance. She certainly has quite a unique fighting style, which is pretty, actually, really cool to see how different the two are in their fighting styles. It's pretty obvious that Ainz hasn't even taken damage yet. That's really quite amusing. It's also pretty interesting. I wonder if Ainz can actually even get exhausted. Now, obviously, he has magic limit, but I wonder if he can even get exhausted, because he's undead, and undead should be immune to exhaustion. It certainly is an interesting possibility that he is immune to exhaustion. It's going to be only a matter of time before Clementine herself actually gets exhausted. やれやれ。この一戦はいろいろと勉強になる。人間風情か。何？舐めた口を叩くなよ、ゴミが。Actually, I wonder about these skeletal dragons. Are they immune to positive energy? Because positive energy should be able to damage them. Even though, like, for an example, clerics and paladins should have an easy time against these skeletal dragons just using positive energy. I wonder if that's the case. Skeletal dragon! Overwhelming power! That is pretty goddamn entertaining. Is she going to overcome the magical resistance just with pure power? This is... Oh boy, this is going to be a spectacle to behold. Now that is an interesting caveat. Just, they nullify only 6th tier magic. Oh my. Yeah, that's pretty goddamn awesome. That is certainly really just utter obliteration. Ainz is just overwhelmingly powerful. This is pretty goddamn brutal, to be honest. just seeing Ainz have such overwhelming power, it's all really quite overwhelming. It's pretty quite something.
そんなに暴れるなよ。お前だってあれを殺すのに時間をかけたんだろ。だから私だって
just seeing Clementine flail around without doing anything, that is rather enjoyable. Seeing her just flail around pathetically.
ゆっくりやってやるさ。
Alrighty then. As I expected, this episode I had less commentary to provide because it had more battles to it, and battles are pretty hard to commentate over. Because the only thing I can do is just react with bewilderment and amusement. So, but I think that's pretty proper as well. I hope you get something out of just my reactions. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. It was quite an amusing little battle. Well, two battles to be honest. And it was really quite overwhelming, so yeah, it certainly was rather amusing to see two displays of great power. And it was quite hilarious to see Ainz defeat Clementine without using even swords, just completely crushing her to death. It was quite an amusing little hug of death. And yeah, that's certainly was really enjoyable to see. Well, it's kind of perverted to say enjoyable to see, but it was really quite pathetic to see her flail around without being able to do anything. So yeah, I think it was overall a rather fun episode. Because the battles were certainly really amusing to watch, even though we knew the outcome just generally. But it was still, nonetheless, really entertaining to see the general outcome of the battle and seeing the overwhelming power that Ainz and Naberal has. Naberal? Whatever, her name. So yeah, it was generally rather entertaining. But yeah, I really like the episode, and I really like the show so far. I hope to see more battles and especially see more magic, and I would really like to see Ainz at the very least take something seriously. But there was that attempt of contact on Ainz, so in the previous episode, so it would be really interesting to see what exactly that was all about. I wonder if we are going to see that by the end of the season. I believe we are, because that would be foolish otherwise. So, for now, I thank you all very much for watching. I'll hope to see you all in the future. Have a great day and stay awesome. Genmu out. Thank you very much for watching.